Behind the unseen walls of power in China, an imaginary dialogue unfolds between President Xi Jinping and the mysterious journalist Adrian Black. A conversation that could shake the foundations of the political world if it were ever to be heard. But these words, these thoughts, were never meant for the public. This is not real news, it's a whispered conversation, leaked in fragments, a forbidden transcript that speaks to the heart of the shadowy power struggles beneath the surface of Chinese politics. Adrian Black, Mr. President, the world knows you as the man who controls China's destiny. But what is the truth behind your rise? Behind the curtain, beyond the polished speeches and grand diplomacy, how did you achieve this level of dominance? Xi Jinping, control, Mr. Black, is never a single action, nor a single event. It is a process, an accumulation of years, decades of subtle maneuvering. It is the manipulation of perceptions, the building of alliances, the quiet dismantling of rivals. But, of course, that is not what the world sees. They see the result. The final image. You would not believe the sacrifices necessary to hold this position. Adrian Black, I've heard rumors, whispers, if you will. Whispers of a power struggle. There were many names before yours, some of them seemingly destined for the top. People like Hu Jintao, who once held such influence. What happened to them? Did they just disappear, or was something more calculated? Xi Jinping, the party has always been a game of chess, Mr. Black. Some pieces are sacrificed for the greater strategy. You are right, Hu Jintao's time was marked by stability, yes. But stability in the form of stagnation is a death sentence in a rapidly changing world. Do you know what happens to a leader who cannot adapt? They become irrelevant. Adrian Black, irrelevant? You mean they were erased? Xi Jinping, erased? No. But those who fail to adapt are placed in positions where they no longer matter. No longer have influence. Their voices are muted. You see, Mr. Black, this isn't the West. We do not broadcast our struggles. We do not air our dirty laundry for all to see. We maintain a certain opacity. For the good of the country. For the good of the people. Adrian Black, but you don't mind the rumors, do you? The whispers of missing officials. The disappearance of those who challenge your authority. People like Bo Xilai, the once powerful Chongqing party chief. Gone without a trace. Was he a threat? Or was he simply an inconvenience? Xi Jinping, Bo Xilai's ambitions were larger than his abilities. He failed to recognize that the party is not a vehicle for personal power, it is a machine that must always remain in motion. Any attempt to derail that motion is met with swift correction. I would not say Bo disappeared. I would say he returned to the shadows. Where he belongs. It is not for the party to showcase weakness. What the world perceives as disappearance is merely a strategic realignment. Adrian Black, a strategic realignment? Or was it something more permanent? We both know what happens to those who fall too far from grace. They are never truly allowed to fade. Their memories linger, and the public demands answers. So I ask again, why was Bo Xilai silenced? Xi Jinping, Mr. Black, the question is not why, but how. How does one maintain order? How does one guide a nation through turbulent times without letting the personal ambitions of a few interfere with the greater good? If you truly understand the nature of power, you will realize that the answer to your question is, not for public consumption. Some matters, no matter how great the curiosity, must remain buried. Adrian Black, so you believe power must be hidden, manipulated behind closed doors? You expect the world to simply accept your word, to trust in the opacity of your leadership? But what happens when the truth begins to slip out? What happens when those whispers turn into accusations? Do you think the party can control that too? Xi Jinping, control is an illusion, Mr. Black. No one controls everything, not even me. But what matters is the perception of control. The party's strength lies in its ability to maintain that perception, to ensure that the world sees what it wants them to see. And as for your accusations, we will deal with them in due time. We have ways of handling things. The truth, as you call it, is often not the one you think it is. Adrian Black, and what about those who are still whispering? What about the ones who still question your authority, your legitimacy? I've heard rumors of a power struggle deep within the party. Whispers of potential rivals, figures in the shadows, ready to strike. What can you tell me about them? Xi Jinping, rivals? Every leader has them. But let me make one thing clear, Mr. Black, in China, the party is the true power. There are no real rivals, only people who believe they can challenge the inevitable. Anyone who thinks they can usurp me is mistaken. I am not just a leader. I am the embodiment of the party's will. And those who dare question it, will learn the consequences. The room grows colder, the air thicker with tension. Adrian Black leans forward, sensing the danger in the president's words. And what of the rumors, Mr. President? What of the factionalism that's been simmering beneath the surface? I've heard your own inner circle is divided. Some say there are those within the CCP who wish to see you removed from power. Is that true? Do you fear such whispers? Xi Jinping smiles, but it's not a reassuring smile. Fear is a weakness, Mr. Black. But I will tell you this, power is fragile only for those who do not understand it. Those who seek to undermine me have already made their mistake. Their fate is sealed. But you, Mr. Black, are playing a dangerous game. You have crossed into territory where even whispers can be deadly. Do you really wish to continue this conversation? Adrian Black does not flinch. I am here for the truth, Mr. President. And I will ask my questions, no matter the danger. Xi Jinping's smile fades, and for a moment, the only sound is the subtle click of a distant clock. Very well. But be careful what you wish for, Mr. Black. Some truths are far more dangerous than you can imagine. The air is heavy with the threat of something greater, something darker. And as the dialogue continues, it becomes clear that Adrian Black has uncovered far more than he bargained for. What he doesn't yet know is that the next answers will lead him down a path from which there may be no return. Far from over. The tension in the room thickens, as if the very walls are closing in on Adrian Black. His mind races, but his expression remains calm. He knows better than to show fear. Xi Jinping watches him intently, his gaze unwavering, as if daring the journalist to ask the next question. Adrian Black, you speak of the inevitable, Mr. President. But there are those who believe that even the most powerful of men can be toppled. Even you. Some say there are whispers of rivals within your own ranks, factions that are quietly gathering, building influence. If this is true, how long can you maintain control? How long can you keep the party united under your leadership? Xi Jinping, Mr. Black, let me make this clear, the party is a reflection of my will. As long as I remain in power, the party remains united. Those who think they can rise against me are delusional. They forget that the strength of the CCP is not in individual ambitions, but in the collective strength of the whole. The party will adapt, as it always has, and those who cannot keep up will be discarded. Adrian Black, discarded? You speak as if those who fall out of favor are easily forgotten. But we both know that's not the case, Mr. President. Those who are discarded often leave a trail. A trail that leads to others who seek to fill the vacuum of power. You have built an empire, but what happens when cracks start to form in its foundation? Xi Jinping's eyes narrow, his expression hardening. Cracks? There are no cracks, Mr. Black. Only those who look for them. My power is not built on weakness. It is built on control, on discipline, on a system that ensures stability. Those who question that stability will face the consequences. Adrian Black, and those consequences? Are they as permanent as the fate of Bo Xilai? I've heard rumors that the fate of some powerful figures in your inner circle is far more unpredictable. What happens when a person no longer serves your purpose, Mr. President? Xi Jinping leans forward slightly, his voice lowering to a cold whisper. In the game of power, Mr. Black, there are no second chances. Those who fail to play their part are eliminated, quietly, swiftly. It is not personal. It is simply the way of the world. You should know this, Mr. Black. Power does not operate on sentiment. It operates on necessity. If a person is no longer necessary, they become a liability. And liabilities are dealt with accordingly. Adrian Black, a liability, you say? So you would have us believe that those who vanish, those who are removed from the public eye, are simply casualties of power's demands? What about those who vanish under suspicious circumstances? What do you say to the accusations of forced disappearances? To the rumors of political purges that stain your reputation? Xi Jinping's gaze hardens further, and the temperature in the room seems to drop several degrees. Mr. Black, do not mistake the realities of leadership for criminality. Those who vanish do so because they have failed to understand the weight of their positions. And those who seek to cast doubt on the actions of the party are only playing into the hands of those who wish to destabilize us. This is not a matter of political purges. This is a matter of survival. Adrian Black, survival? Are you saying that your actions, no matter how drastic, are necessary for China's survival? What about the moral cost, Mr. President? What price are you willing to pay to maintain your grip on power? Xi Jinping, the price of power is one that only those who seek it truly understand. And as for morality, let me tell you something, Mr. Black, in the world of power, morality is a flexible concept. It is not about what is right or wrong in the eyes of others. It is about what is necessary for the survival of the state. And if that means making difficult decisions, then so be it. Adrian Black, difficult decisions, like silencing your rivals? Like making them disappear without a trace? Xi Jinping, no one is silenced unless they become a threat to the greater good. No one disappears unless they choose to challenge the order we have built. If you cannot accept that, then perhaps you do not understand the nature of true power. You speak of morality, but power is not about morality. Power is about control. Power is about shaping the world to your will. Adrian Black, and if you lose that control, Mr. President? What happens when the walls you've built start to crumble? What happens when the power you've so carefully cultivated slips through your fingers? Xi Jinping's voice darkens, his expression unreadable. The walls do not crumble, Mr. Black. And as for the power, it will never slip through my fingers. The party will endure, and so will I. There is no alternative. Adrian Black takes a deep breath, sensing the danger in Xi Jinping's words. He knows he's walking a thin line, but the truth is too tantalizing to ignore. And what of the future, Mr. President? What do you see for China in the coming years? Will the party continue to hold its grip on power, or will it face challenges that even you cannot control? Xi Jinping leans back in his chair, his eyes gleaming with a strange confidence. The future? The future belongs to those who can shape it. And I intend to shape it in the party's image. Challenges will come, yes, but they will be met with the full force of our power. There is no question of losing control. Not now. Not ever. Adrian Black, so you believe your grip on power is unshakable? Xi Jinping smiles, but it is a smile devoid of warmth. I do not believe it. I know it. The room is silent for a moment, the weight of Xi Jinping's words hanging in the air. Adrian Black feels the walls closing in on him. He knows the danger of pushing further, but the thirst for the truth drives him onward. And what about those who are still lurking in the shadows, Mr. President? The ones who are biding their time, waiting for the right moment to strike? Will you be ready for them when the time comes? Xi Jinping's eyes glint with an unsettling calm. I am always ready, Mr. Black. Always. And with those words, the air thickens with the unspoken threat that lies just beneath the surface. The conversation is far from over, and the danger is only just beginning. The air in the room feels suffocating now, heavy with the unspoken weight of their exchange. Adrian Black can almost hear his own heartbeat, but his voice remains steady, calm, despite the rising tension. He knows that Xi Jinping is playing a dangerous game, one that stretches far beyond the realm of public politics. This is a game of survival, of whispered power, of ruthless calculations. Adrian Black, you speak with certainty, Mr. President, but power is always in flux, isn't it? Even the most formidable of leaders can find themselves swept away by forces they didn't anticipate. We've seen it before, time and time again. The rise and fall of dynasties, the collapse of governments. How can you be so sure your reign will be different? Xi Jinping, because I understand the nature of power, Mr. Black. I have studied it, lived it, and, most importantly, I have built a system that ensures my control is unshakable. Do you think I am unaware of the risks, the forces that lurk beneath the surface? I know the history, Mr. Black. I know what happens when power is taken for granted. But I do not take power for granted. I hold it with precision, with purpose, and with discipline. Adrian Black, precision, purpose, discipline, these are the tools of a dictator, Mr. President. You claim to build stability, but at what cost? How many sacrifices have been made in your pursuit of absolute control? How many lives have been altered or erased? Xi Jinping, there is no stability without sacrifice, Mr. Black. Power requires sacrifice, both from the leader and those around him. The party has always been a machine, one that must keep moving, always adapting to the world around it. Those who cannot keep up, are left behind. And those who stand in the way are dealt with. Adrian Black, you speak of the party as if it were a cold, impersonal machine, but isn't there a human cost to it all? Isn't there a point when the sacrifices become too great? When the price for control outweighs the benefits? Xi Jinping's expression hardens, his eyes narrowing in a way that sends a chill down Adrian Black's spine. The cost is the price of survival, Mr. Black. You cannot lead a nation of 1.4 billion people by following the whims of the weak. I have made difficult decisions, yes. But I do so for the greater good. The survival of China and the strength of the party are far more important than the whims of a few individuals. Adrian Black, the survival of China, or your own survival, Mr. President? That's the question, isn't it? You speak of the greater good, but when does that stop being about the party and start being about you? Xi Jinping laughs, the sound cold and humorless. I am the party, Mr. Black. There is no distinction between the two. The survival of the party and my survival are one and the same. I do not seek power for personal gain. I seek it to ensure China's place in the world, to protect it from the threats that loom beyond our borders, and to ensure that no one, can challenge our authority. Not now, not ever. Adrian Black, but power always attracts challengers, doesn't it? Even you must realize that there are those who wait in the wings, those who want to take your place. The whispers in the shadows, the factions within the party, the rumors of secret alliances being forged. How long can you fend off those who wish to see you fall? Xi Jinping's eyes glint with a deadly calm. Those who challenge me do so at their own peril. They have already made their mistake. I have ensured that there are no rivals, no threats that can rise to challenge my authority. Any faction that attempts to gain power will be dismantled before they can even dream of succeeding. Adrian Black, and if they do succeed, Mr. President? If the factionalism and internal divisions finally tear the party apart, what then? What happens when your hold on power begins to slip, when your enemies no longer fear the consequences of defying you? Xi Jinping leans forward, his voice dropping to a menacing whisper. If my enemies think they can overthrow me, they are gravely mistaken. They do not understand the forces they are up against. The party has endured for decades, centuries, in fact. It has survived worse than this. I have built my power on a foundation that cannot be shaken. You speak of internal divisions, but they are nothing more than noise, distractions. I know how to silence them. The party will stand, and I will remain at the top, for as long as I wish. Adrian Black, but what about the people, Mr. President? The very people you claim to protect? Do you think they will remain passive forever? How much longer will they tolerate the growing inequality, the repression, the lack of freedoms? I've heard the murmurs, the growing discontent. The cracks that even you can't deny. Will you continue to control them through fear, through suppression, or will the day come when the people rise against you? Xi Jinping's gaze turns icy, his voice low and controlled. The people are loyal, Mr. Black. They understand what is at stake. We have created a system that serves them, that ensures stability. As for the cracks you speak of, they are nothing more than the voice of a few discontented individuals. We have systems in place to maintain order. The people trust their leaders. They trust the party. You underestimate the power of the CCP and the loyalty of the Chinese people. Adrian Black, trust? Loyalty? Or fear, Mr. President? There is a difference. And fear can only last for so long. What happens when the people grow tired of being controlled, when they demand more than just survival? Xi Jinping's expression darkens, the tension palpable in the air. You continue to test the limits of your own safety, Mr. Black. Do you really think you understand China's power? Do you think you understand the will of the party? You are playing a dangerous game, asking these questions, prying into matters that are not for outsiders to know. But you will soon learn, Mr. Black, that there are consequences for such curiosity. Adrian Black, consequences? Is that a threat, Mr. President? Because if it is, then I will have to ask even more questions. What will you do to stop me? To stop the truth from coming out? Xi Jinping stands, his presence filling the room. The truth? You speak of the truth as if it is something that can simply be revealed. But you are wrong, Mr. Black. The truth is a weapon, and it is one that can destroy you. You have crossed a line, and now you will face the consequences. But remember this, I am always in control. And there is no one who can take that from me. Adrian Black's heart pounds, but he remains composed. He knows he's walking a tightrope, but the pull of the truth is too strong. We'll see, Mr. President. We'll see just how much control you really have. As Xi Jinping's cold gaze fixes on him, Adrian Black realizes that the stakes of this conversation have escalated beyond anything he could have anticipated. The game is no longer just about power, it's about survival. And the consequences for asking the wrong questions may be far more than he can handle. The silence between them stretches like a tightrope, each word now a dangerous step across a precipice. Adrian Black feels the weight of Xi Jinping's gaze, but he doesn't flinch. He can almost feel the gravity of the president's power bearing down on him. The lines between the pursuit of truth and the pursuit of survival blur, but Black is not about to back down. He knows too much, or perhaps not enough, and that uncertainty drives him forward. Adrian Black, you talk of control, Mr. President. You claim that no one can challenge you, that no one can threaten your position. But history is full of leaders who believed the same. Some fell from power with the sound of a whisper. A small crack, a single mistake, and everything they built comes tumbling down. Are you immune to that, Mr. President? Are you truly infallible? Xi Jinping's eyes gleam with an unsettling calm. No one is immune, Mr. Black. No one is infallible. But I am not like those leaders of the past. I have learned from their mistakes, and I have built something far more resilient. I have constructed a system that is not dependent on one man alone. It is a system that adapts, that evolves, and that survives, no matter the cost. That is the difference. Adrian Black, a system? Or a dynasty? A system may evolve, but a dynasty can become a prison. You've built a wall around yourself, a wall of power, of fear, of secrecy. How long can you hide behind that wall, Mr. President? How long before the people, your people, see through it? When the whispers turn to shouts, what will you do then? Xi Jinping's expression darkens. The people are loyal, Mr. Black. They understand that stability, security, and power are more important than fleeting desires for freedom or change. As for the whispers, they are nothing but the sound of insignificant voices. The truth is that the party holds the power, and the party is what keeps China strong. Those who challenge that truth will be silenced, one way or another. Adrian Black leans forward, his eyes unwavering. But it won't always be so easy, will it? History has shown that even the most powerful leaders face their reckoning. What happens when the walls of secrecy begin to crack? What happens when the truth comes out, and the world sees the lengths you've gone to maintain your grip on power? Xi Jinping's smile is cold, calculating. The truth, Mr. Black, is not something the world can control. You seem to think that the truth will be some kind of weapon to bring me down. But the truth is what I say it is. I have the power to shape reality, to control what the world believes, and to ensure that no one can touch me. You think that the truth will expose me? Let me assure you, Mr. Black, I am the one who exposes the truth. Adrian Black, and what happens when the truth is no longer yours to control? What happens when your own people, those who serve you, begin to question the narrative? You've silenced the dissenters, but the cracks in your system are widening. There are those within the party who see the world differently, those who are waiting for the right moment to strike. Do you think you can control them forever? Xi Jinping's gaze sharpens, his voice low but filled with authority. I do not fear my rivals, Mr. Black. I have already dealt with them. Anyone who seeks to undermine the party's unity will be dealt with swiftly and decisively. You speak of cracks, but they are only illusions. The party is solid. The people are united. And I will ensure that no one, can break that unity. Adrian Black, so you believe you can hold everything together with fear? That you can keep the party, and the people, under control indefinitely? I don't doubt your power, Mr. President, but power, like anything else, can corrupt. What happens when it corrupts you? When the weight of maintaining this control breaks you, too? Xi Jinping's eyes narrow, his voice cold and deadly. You are treading dangerous ground, Mr. Black. You do not understand the stakes of this game. This is not about power for its own sake. This is about survival. I will do whatever it takes to protect China, to protect the party, and to ensure that those who threaten our way of life are eliminated. You think the people will rise against me? You think they will rise against the party? You are wrong. We have already ensured their loyalty, their trust. Adrian Black's voice becomes more forceful. But trust, Mr. President, can be fragile. It can be lost in a heartbeat. You've created a system that thrives on control and fear, but what happens when that fear becomes too much to bear? What happens when the people, your people, begin to demand more than just survival? What happens when they rise up, not out of hatred, but out of necessity? Xi Jinping's expression hardens into something that borders on fury. You continue to underestimate the party's strength, Mr. Black. You continue to test the limits of your own safety. The people will never rise against me, against the party. We control their future, their prosperity. You think they will risk everything for something as fleeting as freedom? No. They will never betray their own future for an illusion of change. The party's grip is unbreakable. Adrian Black takes a breath, sensing the perilous edge of their conversation. He knows he is walking a fine line, but the truth he is chasing is too important. And what of those who see through the illusion, Mr. President? What of those who will not bend to your control? Will you continue to silence them? Will you continue to erase those who dare speak out against your regime? Xi Jinping rises from his seat, his presence towering. I have already told you, Mr. Black, there is no place for dissent. There is no room for weakness in the party. Those who speak out, those who try to destabilize China's future, will be dealt with. Swiftly. Decisively. Adrian Black stands, meeting Xi Jinping's gaze. But even the strongest walls can fall. Even the most ruthless regimes can collapse. What happens then, Mr. President? What happens when the walls of your empire crumble, when the party's grip on power finally slips away? Xi Jinping steps closer, his voice a low growl. The empire will never fall. And if you think you can make it crumble with your questions, you are gravely mistaken. You will learn, Mr. Black, that there are forces far beyond your understanding, and I am one of them. The tension in the room becomes unbearable. Adrian Black knows that this conversation has gone far beyond what he expected. The truth he seeks may never be revealed, and the cost of seeking it may be far higher than he ever anticipated. As the air grows heavier, and Xi Jinping's figure looms over him, Adrian Black realizes that this is no longer just an interview, it's a battle for survival. And in the end, only one man can remain standing.